Welcome to class. My name is Ido Flourish, and today we will be looking at respiration in plants, or just simply put, plant respiration. So, in our previous class, we looked into what animal respiration is, we looked into the definition of respiration and those respiratory organs that some set of animals use in respiration. Today we'll be looking at respiration in plants, or plant respiration. Respiration in plants actually can be defined as a cellular mechanism that involves the complete combustion of glucose and oxygen into byproducts like water and carbon dioxide in the form of heat. Respiration in plant occurs through the stomata and lentil cells. So stomata is a plant specialized part that is present in the epidermis layer of the plant. We have the epidermis. You know, for mammalian skin, we have the epidermis, dermis, and hypodermis. And what did I say epidermis is? Is the epi means like the surface. So this is the epidermis. This part that you can see is the epidermis. So that part of the leaf that you can see outside is the epidermis. So the stomata is a plant specialized part that is present in the epidermis layer of the leaves and stem, and it is bean-shaped. It is a bean-shaped gas cell. You know how a bean looks like now? Yeah. So it is a bean-shaped gas cells that forms stomata pore. So that forms stomata pores and promotes stomata opening and closing during the gaseous exchange. So there's something called the stomata pore, and this stomata pore helps to promote the opening and the closing of stomata. Sorry, it is the one that opens and closes during gaseous exchange. So carbon dioxide and oxygen are the gases that are exchanged during the daytime. So they are the gases that are exchanged during the daytime, and we have the lentil cells. The lentil cells appear as a pore in the woody trunk or a bark of a tree. Stomata is found where? In plants. While lentil cells is found in the woody tree or the bark of a tree. Tree and plants. Tree and plants, it is. Lentil cells, that means the tree has a very hard surface compared to a plant that when you press itself, you can crush it with your hand. You can, divide it into with your hand. But can you use your hand to fold a tree? No, it's not possible. So it needs a lentil cell. And lentil cells they also appear as a pore in the wooden trunks or bark of a tree. So they also allow the exchange of gases between the cell and the environment. So it is present in the periderm of the stem. It is present in the periderm of the cell. This one is present in leaf. Why lentil cell? So the periderm of the stem of a woody trunk or the bark of a tree. So let us look at the plant respiration cycle. Plant respiration cycle. Plants respire 24 hours, day and night. So they respire 24 hours day and night to carry out the oxidation of glucose into the byproducts like, so they have to oxidize glucose into byproducts like carbon dioxide, water, and energy. So a plant produces glucose and oxygen during photosynthesis by converting carbon dioxide and water under the action of sunlight and chlorophyll, which is what photosynthesis. So respiration in plants is also what? A process which simultaneously occurs the whole day. So it is a process, it happens throughout the whole day. Conversely, photosynthesis occur only during the what? Daytime, under sunlight. But the respiration rate of plants is higher during the night as photosynthesis ceases. Photosynthesis happens during the daytime. So respiration is not that really fast. So at night, what happens? Respiration happens a lot. That is why if you walk at night beside a garden or where we have a lot of plants, you will feel that cool breeze more than walking past it during the day. Yes, because plants respire a lot at night compared to daytime when there is sun and photosynthesis is happening. So let us look at cellular respiration. I mentioned in the definition that respiration in plants is a cellular mechanism. It is a cellular mechanism. So let us look at what that cellular mechanism means, or what that cellular respiration means in plant. Cellular respiration involves three major pathways which help to oxidize glucose into energy, and that energy is ATP, which is adenosine triphosphate. Adenosine triphosphate. Alright, so this adenosine triphosphate in plants is formed during cellular respiration, and it serves as the energy currency that helps in the functioning and forming of different cells. So this ATP that is formed during respiration of plants helps to serve as the energy currency that it helps in the forming. Now I have talked about the stomata, and I said it is the one that is used for respiration in plants. So how does it happen? The first thing I want us to note is that the supply of sugar and starch in the gut cell determines the process of stomata closure and opening. So the presence of, or the supply of glucose is stored in form of starch in plants. So the supply of starch and sugar in the gut cell of the stomata determines the process of stomata closure and opening. So the gut cell of the stomata contains sugar, and these sugar are actually generated by their chloroplast in the presence of sunlight. This glucose is generated by the chloroplast of a plant in the presence of sunlight. That is photosynthesis. And this sugar, now gets solubilized, and when it becomes soluble. When it becomes soluble, the gut cells concentration is going to increase. So I told you that this sugar is being formed in the presence of sunlight in the gut cell of the plant. And what happens? This sugar becomes solubilized. It becomes, don't let that English crack your head. It becomes soluble. And as it becomes soluble, as this sugar becomes soluble, what happens to the gut cell? The gut cell concentration is also going to increase. So as the gut cell increases, water will enter into the cell by osmosis from the surrounding cell. So water that has been hanging around is going to enter into the surrounding cell due to the higher amount of cytoplasm in this cell. So there is cytoplasm present in the cell. So as the gut cells become increased, water is going to enter into the gut cell, and As a result of this, the stomata is going to open. The stomata is going to open. So when there is no light, the sugar turns into what? Starch. But when there is light, the sugar remains sugar. So if it is starch, the starch is what? Is insoluble. So the gas cell has a lower concentration. If it is sugar, the gas cell is excited. It has a higher concentration. And what happens to the gas cell? It opens. The gas cell increase. The concentration increase, and water enters. As water enters, the stomata is going to open. But now, in the presence of no light, what happens to the gas cell? The concentration decrease, and as it decrease, the neighboring cells osmotically remove water from the cell. So water is removed from the cell, and it is going to make the gas cell flaccid, which makes the stomata close. So the stomata is going to close automatically. So that is how the stomata opens and close in the plant. So now we will be looking at aerobic respiration and anaerobic respiration. We have looked at the plant's respiration, and we looked at how stomata and lenticels are being used for respiration, and how stomata opens and it closes in a plant. So let us look at aerobic and anaerobic respiration. Yes. So looking at aerobic and anaerobic respiration, if you don't want to stress yourself too much, just know aerobic, there is air. So just know it happens in the presence of oxygen, and this one happens when there is no oxygen. Just know that. So let us go into aerobic respiration. Aerobic respiration is the respiration which takes place in the presence of oxygen and evolved after oxygen was added to the Earth's atmosphere. So it is the type of respiration that takes place in the presence of oxygen, and it evolves after oxygen was added to the atmosphere. So this type of respiration is useful today because the atmosphere is now 21% of oxygen. However, some anaerobic organisms that evolved before the atmosphere contained oxygen have survived to the present too. Yes, they don't need oxygen to respirate, but because before oxygen was added to the atmosphere, they have been living. Now that oxygen has been added to the atmosphere, they are still living. So anaerobic respiration takes place without oxygen. Must also have its own advantage. So we're going to look into that in this class. We said aerobic respiration takes place in the presence of oxygen, while anaerobic does not take place in the presence of oxygen. Why? Because these anaerobic organisms have been existing before oxygen was added to the atmosphere. So what are the advantages of aerobic respiration? The first advantage of aerobic respiration is that the aerobic respiration is a major advantage of the aerobic respiration is the amount of energy it releases. Without aerobic respiration or without oxygen, which is present in aerobic respiration, organisms cannot split glucose into two molecules of pyruvate, which releases only enough energy to make two ATP molecules. So without aerobic respiration that helps to produce oxygen, we cannot have our energy. And this anaerobic respiration is very, very important because it helps to give energy. So the second one is that the amount of energy produced by the aerobic respiration may explain why aerobic organisms came to dominate the life on Earth. So it actually may mean that is why we now have a lot of aerobic organisms all over the Earth. They dominate the Earth more than anaerobic respiration. It may also explain how organisms were able to become multicellular and increase in size. Are you thinking what I'm thinking? Yes. Why do you think that we have a lot of multicellular organisms all over the head, all over the head? Because there is now oxygen present in the atmosphere, which makes a lot of organisms that are multicellular in nature dominate the head. You understand that? Thank you. So let us look at the advantages of anaerobic respiration. Yes, it also has its own advantages. So what are the advantages of anaerobic respiration? One advantage of anaerobic respiration is very, very obvious, and the advantage is that it lets organisms live in a place where there is no oxygen. So when there is no oxygen at all, anaerobic respiration or the anaerobic organisms can live, such as places where we have deep water, soil, and digestive tract of animals. The digestive tract of animal, oxygen is not passing through there, and we have some organisms that are living there. So they are anaerobic organisms. So another advantage of anaerobic respiration is the speed. It produces ATP very fast. So it produces ATP very fast. For example, it lets your muscle get the energy that they need for short bursts of intense activities. They actually are very, very fast. On the other hand, but aerobic respiration on the other hand, it produces ATP very slow, not as fast as anaerobic respiration. So it gives the energy in a very, very short time, and intense activity of this pole is very, very fast. So let us look at something very quickly, which is the process of fermentation. The process of fermentation. The process of fermentation using yeast and glucose. So we are going to do a very, very simple practical right now. And let us look at our apparatus. The apparatus we'll be using a eye protection, a conical flask, a boiling tube, measuring cylinder, access to balance. We are going to need a cotton wool, a sticky label, a warm water of 30 to 40 degrees Celsius. We're going to need chemical, we're going to need glucose, and obviously we're going to need our yeast because it is present here, and our lime water and apparatus node. Now we are trying to check for what? The process of fermentation. Have you heard of fermentation before? Fermentation. Okay. So let us do this. We are going to put 5 grams of glucose in the conical flask. You know what conical flask is now? Do you still remember? Yes, this is the conical flask. So you are going to put in 5 grams of glucose in the conical flask and add 50 centimeter cube of water, not just an ordinary water, a warm water, into that conical flask. You have added glucose, so you're adding 50 centimeters of water into the flask. So you are going to swirl the flask like this till the glucose is dissolved. Then now add 1 gram of yeast to the solution. Add 1 gram of yeast to the solution and loosely plug the conical flask with cotton wool. Now put cotton wool here to cover the flask. So while you're not going to wait till fermentation takes place, remove the cotton wool and pour the invisible gas into boiling tube containing lime water. So you are going to bring another boiling tube, bring it towards that the conical flask like this. So you're going to bring it towards it like this to allow, and this thing contains, I'm not saying you should turn it upside down like this, so the lime water is going to pour away. So you're going to bring it like here, do it like this. This like this. What I'm trying to do is to allow the gas from the conical flask to enter into the lime, and you should have to take care so that the liquid inside this conical flask is not going to pour into the lime, just the gas that comes out as a result of fermentation that we need. So what you are now going to do now is that you are going to also gently swirl the lime water in the boiling tube and note what happens. You're going to shake it and shake it and shake it. So you are not going to replace the cotton wool in the top of the flask. So return the cotton wool back. So after you do that, remove the cotton wool again and smell it. Smell that solution. When you smell that solution, you are going to notice something. Yeast is actually added to the glucose to act as an enzyme, and that enzyme is called zymase. It's called zymase, and what it does is to catalyze the solution, catalyze the glucose, and allow the process of fermentation. So, for example now, glucose zymase which means you have added yeast to the glucose, and that yeast is an enzyme which is known as zymase to act on the glucose. So what it's going to give you is carbon dioxide plus ethanol. Ethanol is an alcoholic product, so it's going to give you carbon dioxide and ethanol. So we have the equation of our glucose is C6H12. This is an aqueous form. To give our carbon dioxide, which is CO2, plus our ethanol, which is what? C2. You have methanol, ethanol. Methanol is what? 1 now. C. So just ethanol is C2. We have C2H5 OH aqueous. It's also in aqueous form, and our CO2 is in gaseous form. So we have our ethanol, we have our carbon dioxide, we have our glucose. Glucose is in aqueous form, so we have added zymase to it, a catalyst. So if you look at that equation, we have is it complete? We have 6 carbon here, we have 4 here, we have 4 oxygen, 1 oxygen. So it's not complete, so let's add 2. Is that we have 4, 2, 6, we have 10 plus 2, we have 12 complete, and oxygen we have 4 and 2, it is complete. So that is what makes our carbon dioxide, and ethanol. Just as simple as that. So let us look at the economic importance of yeast. The economic importance of yeast. The first thing is that it is used in bakery industry. So in the preparation of bread, yeast is very, very important because when it is added to the needed flour, fermentation activity of the yeast produces alcohol of CO2, and the CO2 evaporates to make the bread spongy. And also in brewery industries too, in the production of alcohol, it is very, very useful. And in the production of yeast cake, in brewery industries also, excess yeast are harvested and pressed into yeast cake or tablets, which are rich source of protein and vitamins, and alcoholic beverages prepared alcoholic beverages prepared through fermentation uses this yeast cake. So what are the harmful activities of yeast? Yes, it has its own disadvantage. It has its own disadvantage, and its disadvantage is that it can lead to spoilage of food due to its saprophytic nature. As an example of a saprophyte, it spoils a number of foodstuffs like cheese, tomato products, carbonated beverages, food with lactic acid, etc. So it is a plant disease. It is a plant disease. So we have examples of yeast like nematospora, which attacks beans. We have tomato and cotton are being attacked by yeast, and it helps to reduce their yields. So we also have human diseases. So some species of yeast are responsible for serious diseases like cryptococcosis, which is known as a mental disorder. We have blastomycosis, we have tuberculosis, and all those. We also have candidiasis. They are examples of diseases that is being caused by yeast. So in today's class, we were able to talk on plant respiration, also aerobic and anaerobic respiration, and the advantages of aerobic and anaerobic respiration. We also looked into the process of fermentation, and we cited an example by doing a very, very simple practical. Yes, and we were able to come up with ethanol and carbon dioxide by combining yeast and glucose together. So I hope you had a great time in class today. You enjoyed yourself and you were able to comprehend everything that was taught in class today. Yes, thank you for waiting and watching to the end. I love you and I look forward to seeing you in our next class.